A fallen log. Thank God. Just duck behind it and stay fucking silent. My heart won't stop racing. I feel like he could hear it from... Wait, where is he? Okay, just get a peek, slowly, so you don't rustle these damn dry leaves. There he is. He hasn't spotted me. Christ, I might actually get out of this. He's walking away. Good. Keep walking, asshole. Why the fuck does he want to kill me anyway? I've done everything I possibly could to stay out of trouble, and he still wants to hunt me down? And who the hell is he anyway? Like he doesn't have a few skeletons in his own closet. I bet we could find out. I bet he's worse than I could ever be. You know what? Fuck it. Why am I hiding behind this log like a child? You want a monster? I'll be a fucking monster.
Hunter Hunted is a 2-player TTRPG that weaves together narrative scenes in a fast-paced dice-rolling sprint that sends players racing headlong into the hunt, coming face-to-face with their own humanity and monstrosity as they do. One player will be playing the Hunter, the Pursuer, driven and steadfast in their quest to track and slay their quarry. The other will be playing the Monster, the Pursued, alienated and hated by those who have crossed their path, determined to survive by any means necessary. The two will pursue each other as the players race to advance their token off the tracker first, drawing a prompt with each advance made and answering it through roleplay as the events of the hunt, as well as the memories of the hunter and monster, are revealed. At the end, whoever is the first to advance their token off the tracker has claimed the upper hand once and for all. The hunt is over, and now they must make a choice. Do they dispatch their opponent, or allow them to flee with their life?
Hello. Is everything working? I hope so. There we go. Hello, friends. Welcome to Hunter Hunted, the brand new game developed by Dillin, Apelyan, and Meghan that just got successfully launched on Kickstarter within 3 hours. Congratulations again to Dillin and Meghan for an insanely great game, first of all, and secondly for an immediately successful Kickstarter. This game deserves it, and you guys will see why tonight, because we are going to be playing this for you guys as a little bit of a demo, and hopefully to get you guys interested in getting the game as well. If you don't know, I am Andre Rivera. You can find me at Andre Rivera Art online. And I work with Dillin a lot. We've made a lot of games together. We play in the Atomless together, which is a Starfinder actual play podcast and series. You can also find me on Manapod Studios, where I play in Streets of Gotham. I will also be running a brand new Streets of Gotham spin-off show very soon. Season 3 will also be airing relatively soon for Streets of Gotham, as well as Tragedy's Elosion on Total Party Kiss, and a bunch of other stuff. It's super fun. If you want to check out all my stuff, you can go to andrerivera.art as a website, and you'll see all of the games I've designed, my illustration portfolio, the actual plays I'm in, and a few podcasts as well. So feel free to check me out there. I am so excited to be playing alongside my good friend and yours, Puja. Puja, give us a little rundown. What's going on with you?
Last I checked, I'm still Puja. You can find me on Twitter and the Tumblr that I'm not on very often as Puja, and Pujabberwocky everywhere else because I didn't get there in time, or they wouldn't let me have a username less than 6 characters. But my pronouns are she, her, anything is fine. Sometimes I even answer to respectful whistles. That's a new one. And you can find
Respectful
me
whistles.
respectful. Like uh,
Like
if you
dolphin
know what you know.
whistles, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like and then we'll just know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But as for streaming, you can find me on Total Party Kiss playing Strange Hungers, which is a horror game, and it's wonderful, run by our buddy Alex. And you can also find me playing Streets of Gotham with my bud Andre.
In
We're
season
very
3.
excited for the season we're in together to come out very soon. You can find me on the latest arc of Unprepared Casters, where we played City of Mist. And very soon, I believe it's already, the pre-trailer has launched for Tabletop Tempest. I'm going to be in one of their shows, which is very fun because it is a channel making shows about, and it's all with immigrants and children of immigrants and telling our stories. So it's very fun. A bunch of really fun things going on, and I'm very excited to be here because I love horror, I love monsters, I love my bud Dillin, and I'm
We
excited to
love
play
you,
his game.
Dylan.
Yeah.
Yay! And we love you, Megan. Okay. So we're gonna go through Hunter Hunted from the start of the game. We got a little bit of setup to do before we actually start playing. The core concept of Hunter Hunted is that the two of us will be playing either one of us will be a hunter and one of us will be a monster. Those definitions are very loose, and that's definitely to our advantage. You can play a lot with what kind of monster and what kind of hunter you are. But the idea is that we'll both be kind of going after each other, and as we're playing, each of us will be taking turns. Not really, because I don't have a deck of cards with me, but Puja will be pulling for me from a deck, and each card in the deck of 52, standard playing deck, has a prompt that goes with it, which brings out a roleplay scene, or a flashback, or some sort of moment for you to describe something about your character and what you do within this pursuit. And at the end of that kind of role-play encounter, the both of you determine who would win in each instance. And you can see on the screen, we've got this lovely little pawn I'm shuffling around right here. This pawn will be tracking who is closer to winning. So I want the pawn to be furthest on my side, whereas Puja will want it furthest on their side. So that happens. If you move it up by one each time, you win an encounter, or like a flashback or something like that. So let's go ahead and jump into character creation. Let's see. Let me pull this up. Okay. To start, I'm quoting from page 6. That's how. Oh. Also, you need 2d6. I am a filthy liar. Okay.
I got him. My dice tray lives on my desk, so we are all good.
Yes. Okay. To start, determine who will be playing the hunter, the pursuant, and who will be playing the monster, the pursued. Once the characters have been chosen, take turns answering questions about your individual characters and share those answers with one another. In addition to the individual character creation questions, players will collaboratively answer the stage setting questions together. This can happen either prior to the individual character creation questions being answered, or after, whatever the players decide. So, do you have a preference as to if you want to do the stage setting first or characters setting first?
Setting. That sounds like a fun way to do it, and then we can make little guys in the world.
Yes, let's build our world first. Okay, so some of the questions we have for collaborative stage setting are: where does the hunt take place?
Like, are we talking about
Like
in terms of
in an
environment?
environment? Yes. The next question is also what time period, real or imagined, does the hunt take place?
What if we picked Greenland in the middle of winter?
Greenland in the middle of winter.
So just complete frozen,
Just ice.
uninhabitable hellscape.
Awesome. I want to look up Greenland just because.
Oh, Greenland and Iceland should swap their names.
Yes, I remember because Greenland is false advertising. I remember that.
Yeah, very much so.
Oh yeah,
It's also massive.
Oh yeah, it's just ice and mountains. Oh yeah.
Greenland winter. Let's Google this.
Greenland winter. Oh yeah. It's
Images.
It's pretty horrid. They got dog sleds and shit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So Greenland in winter. Do you have a preference on time period?
What do you got? What do you got for us?
I kind of want to be a little cheeky and do something kind of Viking-y because we're in Greenland.
Ooh.
You know.
Okay.
So medieval, I guess.
Yep.
Would be the proper term.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's the next question we got here? Will you open the game at the beginning of the hunt, or will you pick up in the midst of an ongoing hunt?
Ongoing seems fun.
Okay. So we've already been at it for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, what else are we gonna do in this place?
I will save the other two questions for after we build our characters because I think we've got a good chunk.
That makes sense.
Yes. So would you like to be the monster or the hunter?
Well, I was gonna say, what if we flipped for it or rolled for it?
Oh, you wanna do a little cheeky dice roll?
Yeah,
Okay.
I could do it if you want to tell me, are you odds or evens? Well, okay, how about that? I can roll. I'll odds are hunter, evens are hunted.
Yes.
So whichever one I roll will be what I play.
Yes. Good.
So I got a 2.
So you are the
So
monster.
Arr.
Okay. You are a monster. Who or what are you, and what do you look like?
I am. But well, I guess the question is this what we are believed to be or what we are actually?
That's up to you. I'm cool
Yeah.
with both. I guess tell me both, so then that way I know like what you actually are, and then what my character will see.
Okay, so what I have been I guess we're in the middle of the hunt, so you've caught glimpses. You've caught glimpses of long, straggly hair. You've caught glimpses of what seems like too many joints. You've caught glimpses of movement that are jerky and very quick, like the zombies in 28 Days Later, if you've seen that, but also sometimes incredibly slow and calculated. You've caught glimpses of something that is just too large in every way. Takes up when whatever the shadow you've seen is too big for this landscape. So that is the tales are told of this giant creature. People don't know if it's a man, a woman, it's a mythical being, it's a villain from Norse stories. Like, no one knows what I am, but the big things you know is that I'm too big and too wrong.
Okay. Okay. I'm so interested in how I'm going to be interacting with this monster.
Mhm.
You have made this place your home. What brought you to this place, and why did you choose to stay? So you could be from this place, or you could have traveled here. It's up to you.
I have been here as long as I can remember. And I stay here because where else would I be?
Valid. You have heard the stories told about you. What do the people say about you? How much of these stories are true? What's some of the lore that we might associate with you as a monster?
Some of the lore people say, the most common one is I eat lost travelers, or well, eat. Some say kill. Say people who go out into this frozen tundra. When they don't return, my name is often evoked. And as for how much of these stories are true, well, I'll just say I always eat what I kill.
Ah. Very good. Very good. You're not wasteful anyway.
Exactly.
You have been hunted before. How did you survive, and why are you hunted?
Survived using the same skills that have kept me alive all this time out here. My senses, my speed, my strength, my wit. And I am hunted because of what I look like. People hunt first, ask questions later.
True. True. And this is not a question, but just, do you have a name or a moniker that people refer to you as?
Oh, that one's tough. I don't know. Well, I don't know what would be a time period appropriate. I don't know. Are there any like giant Nordic wolfhound names in mythology?
Oh, I bet there are. There has. I mean, like Fenrir is the one who's like the wolf that like starts is part of like Ragnarok, like the end of the world. I remember that.
Yeah.
But let me see. I mean, you could also just be like Hound Guy the Magnificent or something. I don't know. Like you can just do like a title, you know.
Quick.
Okay.
What about? Oh, let's just go with Vala, which
Valish?
is often used as for Vala, Vala, which is often used
Vala.
for witch, apparently, in Norse mythology. So,
Valah. Very interesting. Cool. Sweet.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna make my guy now.
Yeah.
I am a hunter.
Do you want me to ask you the questions?
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
All right. Okay. You are a mighty hunter. Who are you, and what do you look like?
Okay. My name, I'm a proud Vikinger. I hail from very, very far away lands, from deep down the Danube, almost towards Istanbul. I am, typically, well bronzed all over, but as I have been traveling through these icy seasons, my complexion has gotten much more sallow. The food here has also been rather scarce outside of meager fishing and the occasional seal or other maritime creature, so I've definitely lost a little weight, but I'm still reasonably fit. I'd say I'm more lean, muscular at this point. Nice, thick beard. Has grown out his hair. It's definitely rather shaggy. And he struts with an air of purpose. He knows what he believes himself to be and what people expect of him in this lifestyle. This is not a lifestyle for the meek. This is not for anyone who might have second doubts. This isn't for the philosophical. This is a very practical, hands-on person who also understands he has a lot of social expectations to put on him. So that's my guy. I will look up a name for him.
Do you want to take a second to look that up, or do you want to keep going?
I'm gonna look up a name.
Okay.
Okay, I'm looking at Turkish names. And that's true. The Vikingers did end up connecting as far south as the Eastern Roman Empire, which is, I guess it would be Constantinople at that point, not Istanbul. Yes.
Would it have made the change over?
I think that happened post Vikings.
So that's probably still Istanbul then, right?
Yeah, because I think that's when the Ottomans took over. Let's see. Fun fact: my character Kazimir from Tragedy of Illusion has a Polish name. That means peaceful, which is very funny because he's not.
Love that.
My character's name is Salim. Salim.
Right. All right, Salim. There is a reason you have come to hunt here. What is driving you to pursue your quarry? Were you hired or charged by someone else?
You have established that you have been sometimes placed for the misdeeds of others or just happenstance occurrences. And I think I have been perhaps tasked with taking you down, as some of the local villagers have they have not had a good season this year, unfortunately. Greenland is not known for its bountiful crops.
What's a crop?
Exactly. All they know is fishing. I'm imagining very much like, have you seen Klaus?
I have not.
It's a great movie. But in the movie, there's like a very far away, distant place that is just like this super rundown, like grayscale village where everyone's trying to kill each other. Like even the kids are like after each other with like axes and slingshots and stuff. And that's very much the vibe. If you've seen that movie, that's the mood.
The vibe of town.
Yes. But they have just had horrid luck this year, and they have pawned it on you, unfortunately, Vala. And so they have tasked me with getting retribution in what they believe is retribution. I am doing this for glory and a little bit of pay, because they don't have much else to offer.
And this, I don't know if you want to answer this now, but so did you come here for this job?
I was in town, and then they were like, you! And then they were like, you do it! And I was like, okay.
You're just a Turkish guy hanging out in Greenland.
Just a Turkish guy in Greenland, you know? It is what it is.
It is what it is. I love it. Okay. You carry with you a signature weapon. What is it? What about it is more than it seems?
Ooh. Okay. Have you all seen I forgot what the type of steel is, but there was a really cool method that Scandinavians had for smelting iron that was really cool, and I can't remember what it's called. But it made the steel look marbled.
Oh.
I don't.
Was it kind of like Damascus steel?
It's very similar to Damascus steel. Let me look that up. Yes, very similar, I think. I'll just call it Damascus.
You could also have a Damascus steel blade from being from the area.
yeah, I would have gotten that. I'll just say Damascus.
Okay.
A very beautiful Damascus steel longsword. It is it looks like the same sort of patterning of some of the great tributaries that other Vikings have come down through across the ages. So there's some from there's labels on the sword itself of Dublin, Paris, Lindisfarne, all of these different areas from all across the world, of where other great raids and excavations and conquests have happened over the years. And I think my sword is named Blood Runner.
Are the names more than what it seems?
Ooh. That's a good question. I think that there is this very strong magic infused into the sword. And I think what it does is it I think it drinks blood. And so not only does it when you get cut by it, you don't necessarily bleed messily. It just kind of absorbs it as it cuts. And then kind of almost like vibranium from Wakanda, where it just empowers the next thing, almost like it's using that kinetic energy of the blood flow, right?
Makes sense.
To empower the next few swings.
Well, that seems entirely terrible. I love it.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's very cool. You have heard stories of the monster you hunt. What do you know about your quarry? Do you believe everything you have heard about it?
I believe that people are by nature superstitious. I don't even think you're necessarily real in the same way that they believe you're real. I think Salim has gone after many, many things that people have described as monsters, only to find that they're just bears. They're not dragons or gremlins. It's just those are just rats, buddy. You gotta put your
just
food
a
away.
wolf with mange. It's fine.
Yeah, guy, it's not that serious. So I think he's going into this with low expectations, I think. And I think he understands that you're big, and he's fought big things before. He's fought elk and moose up in Scandinavia, maybe in Belarus or something. But definitely not anything like, you're probably a moose. So, they'll kill a moose. Sure, why not?
Probably a moose. I love that. All right. So, I guess what have they told? What do you know about me? What have they told you about me besides that I'm responsible for their misfortune?
They say you are the blight of the gods, and that you were born deep from the trenches of the ocean where mariners had never been seen again. You eat babies. You eat puppies. You eat baby puppies, which are just puppies.
Yeah. Them too, it's fine.
Yeah. You are just, like, the embodiment of evil in a very, like, uncomplicated way. In the sense of, like, we have chosen you to be the villain in order to keep ourselves from, like, being overly paranoid or, like, anxious all the time, you know? Like, everything bad is because of Vala.
You need a fall guy, yeah.
Did it rain today? That was Vala.
Yep. My job.
Which, again,
Good.
doesn't help with the idea that, like, you're real, right?
Yeah. So should we go back to this collaborative stage setting questions?
Yes. The last two questions
Hmm.
are, what are your emotional states at the start of the hunt? And we already established that we have been in a hunt.
Yes.
That doesn't necessarily mean that we've met, but you
Yeah.
know that I'm after you, and I know that I'm after you.
Yeah.
So we know what the game is. What is your emotional state going into this?
I think going into it at the beginning of the hunt, I think there's a little bit of this again. Kind of like exasperation, but also curiosity as to what is about to ensue. I think it's very likely, given that I stated we're in the middle of winter, that I probably have not had anything to eat for a while. So, you know, who knows what you have on you? If this might work. Sometimes people coming after me is how I get supplies. They bring them to me. What about you?
Do a fair trade.
Yeah.
I think Salim is a little tired. Just like, I'd much rather be back in Hungary or something. Like, it's so cold. It's horrible. There's no food. I've been alone for a long time. I, like, maybe have, like, a husky sled or something that, like, was loaned to me. Like, but just, like, it's just been a long time, and I think I'm kind of over it. And that leads me to the next question, which is, what about both of you is not what it seems? And I'm gonna say that I'm actually way older than I look. I think I've been doing this for, like, 20, 25 years, so I'm, like, 50 or something. And just, like, I didn't even really have kids. Like, I missed that train a little bit. So I at this point, I'm just happy to take, like, going back home. And I've traveled a lot, too, so, like, I haven't ever really had my feet planted for very long. So I think Salim is just kind of, like, dreaming of going back to maybe where he grew up, and back to a more sedentary, peaceful lifestyle, rather than going on these hunts and these quests, as some skalds might say.
Mhm.
What about you? What about you is not what it seems?
Uh, a lot of what you see when you first see me is the layers and layers of polar bear, Arctic fox, etc. pelts me. So, some of the attributes that people find more animalistic, not the strange ones, of course, but in the sense that, like, oh, I have multiple sets of eyes and like lots of sets of fangs. Like a lot of that is attributable to when you get a close enough look to, like, I'm living out here on the tundra. Like, of course, I have bear skins and fox fur and everything covering me in every way, and so a lot of that stuff is not mine.
Yeah.
So, but it's also one of those things where people don't look at me for very long and take those stories back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone who's gotten close enough to make that examination has returned to tell the tale.
Very interesting. Okay. Now the hunt begins. The way that this is gonna work is, we have these 2d6.
Yeah, we do.
This part of the game is a little bit more intense, because we are going to be rolling over and over and over again until one of us gets doubles.
Okay.
When you get doubles, you shout it out. And then the person who gets that token, or who gets the doubles, advances.
Okay.
And then we will draw a card. Depending on which side of the deck it's on, it's divided into color. So black cards, as in clubs and spades, are for me, the hunter. And then red cards, so diamonds and hearts, are for you, the monster.
Okay.
And we will answer the question accordingly. So you will actually, I should have done this. You will need to divide up the deck into...
I did it.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you.
We got 2 stacks.
2 stacks. Then we will resolve that prompt and then move on with the next one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you and I are actually just rolling as many times as possible, and then are we just yelling out doubles, or...
You'll just say, like, I got it!
You get him?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Ready?
Let's
3,
go.
2, 1, go! Oh, I got it! Ah!
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got double force.
Nice. Okay.
Okay. So I will move my piece towards me. Hooray! This is such thrilling esports commentary for everyone watching at home. And then you will draw for me, I should say.
I'll draw for you. Okay.
A black card.
All right. Let me grab something for you. You got the 10 of spades.
The 10 of spades. Let's see. Ooh. What trait of the monsters do you now realize was more dangerous than you thought? For someone so large as described in all these horror stories and old wives' tales, you're pretty hard to find. Greenland is a pretty big place, and there are forests, but a lot of it is also just like open tundra. Like, it's just ice and snow. And theoretically, that shouldn't be hard to find you in. I think the thing that was more dangerous than I thought was that, you know this place. You've lived here basically all your life, according to the stories and also in real life. So I think that is also is something that Salim is struggling with. Is like, not only is this like not a great place for him just like to be in, he doesn't love it here, but also like this is a terrain that's also like not easy to maneuver in, you know, in a stealthy way. You know, if you think about like the rolling hills of the British Isles, right, or the deep woods of Central Europe, right? Like there's a lot of cover. There's a lot of ways to do like guerrilla tactics. There's, you know, there's rivers that you can do like upstream surprise attacks from. This is flat. There's no rivers. It's just ocean. There's ice. There's some trees, but it's not a lot. It's not so much coverage that like you'll just be able to like, you know, do a jump scare or something. It's just
it's a lot of wind and
a lot of wind.
Not that much cover.
So you can smell me from downwind probably. Like,
yeah,
this moose is it's hard to find.
Maybe this moose found a cave or something.
Maybe this moose is in a cave. I don't know. Greenland's crazy, guys.
It sure is.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Do you wanna?
Do we go again?
Okay. I guess we just go again.
All right.
Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, I got it already.
Wow. What'd you get?
2 3s on my first roll.
2 3s.
All right.
What'd you get?
King of Hearts.
King of
Monsieur
Hearts.
Moriarty.
Oh yes, Puja's playing with a Sherlock Holmes deck.
I am.
King of Hearts. In a moment of exhaustion, you consider letting the hunter find you and end the hunt. What changes your mind at the last moment as I shift the pawn back to center?
We've been going at this for a while. You haven't found me, but that's because I have been moving between ice formations a lot. The interesting thing about glaciers is you do often get natural cave systems very unstable. I mean, relatively speaking, they don't last forever, but they can get pretty interesting within the glacier. And I think I have, in moving further and further away from the village, I have been through and started exhausting a lot of my resources in terms of where I can safely hide out, where I can perch. I can't perching, but below ground, okay, and watching. So a lot of what I am using to I'm starting to run out of resources. As we get further and further into the wilderness, we're getting further and further away from my own comfort and safe resources and spots. So I think it's just a moment of sheer exhaustion where I'm like, I haven't eaten in so long. Do I have the energy to go go find more places to hide, more refuge? And I think what changes my mind at the last moment is I think about how I couldn't not live with, because we're talking about me giving up. I would hate it for this all to end this anticlimactically.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't been out here for as long as I have and survived for it to go out with a whimper.
Yeah.
So I think it's just sheer stubbornness.
Yeah. It's lonely out here as an eternal being of the
eternal being of moose?
Of snow? Let's see. Okay, and then I've moved the pawn back to 0, so
okay.
We are even. Tied.
Alright. Rollies again.
Let's go again.
All right.
3, 2, 1, go!
3, 2, 1.
Oh, I got it!
Oh. Oh, wow. Oh, I got it right after you yelled. I got it.
Dang.
I got it on my second roll.
Yes. Okay.
All right. New card for you, right? And
New card for
So I'm
me.
going to pull out the card that you've already had.
Yes. Yes, very good. I will shift a pawn back to me. That is the 9.
9 of spades.
Ooh, baby. Hey, 9 of spades. Nine of spades. What strength of yours has the monster underestimated? Ooh. I might be an old son of a bitch, but I don't give up that easy. I think one of the things that makes Salim somewhat of a menace for any creature he's been tasked with dealing with, or person for that matter, is that he's pretty dogged. He's gonna get what he needs to get, and until he does, he's gonna be looking. He's not gonna be sleeping. He's gonna be like after you. I think that's why he looks. I think that's why he's aged so much within his lifetime. It's just that he just hasn't taken it easy in a lot of ways. But that determination, that resilience, that ooh, I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. But that want to get what is needed, or what people are after, is what Salim thrives on. Because if you're after something and you're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and then just nothing ever shows up, it's kind of like what you said. It just kind of ends with a whimper, and it's no one's happy. That's not what the epics are written about. That's not what they sing. Could you imagine?
You're here for glory.
We're here for glory. We're here. We live for a short time, not a long time. For a good time, not a long time, I should say.
Both.
Yeah. And just that my culture and my profession both have reinstills that need to get shit done. I'm on that hustle. So I think Salim is just he's on it. He's got a lot of experience doing this, so he's ready to find you, whatever you might be. Okay. I should also say, if at any point you would like to do a flashback of anything to elaborate on a concept or a scene, some of these specifically deal with things in the past.
Okay.
So if that comes up, we can role play a scene. Where I'm someone else and you'll be Vala.
Yeah.
Or I'll be Salim and you'll be someone else. So we might see.
See into our past. Okay.
Yes.
So we're rolling?
We're rolling. Here we go.
Whoop. Okay.
Oh, I dropped it. Oh, God.
Got it!
Nah. Good job.
Second roll, 2 3s.
2 3s. Again.
Yeah, I know. I was like, ooh.
Wow. Okay, I'm scooching you back to 0.
They don't. It's the only time I rolled 3 so far have been when I've rolled them doubles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my turn to pull a card, right?
Yes.
Right. We have
8 of Hearts.
the 8 of Hearts.
8 of Hearts. 8 of Hearts. What strength of yours has the hunter underestimated? The same question that I got asked.
Yeah. I think the hunter has underestimated, through no fault of his own. He thinks I'm a moose. But, given that I'm not a moose, the hunter has underestimated my force of will. And, in that moment, we can an image. You see an image, and it is of me crouched behind these incredibly jagged ice formations at the mouth of a cave, looking out at a party of 8 large for humans of the time, men who are here to put an end to the menace once and for all. And that image quickly flashes, and then it's followed with an image, just a couple of images of teeth, of claws, of nails, and of blood.
Woo! Wow. I'm rattled. Cool.
Sorry, I'm just a moose.
Yeah.
I'm just a moose.
You're
It's
just
fine.
a moose. It's fine.
Okay, it's okay.
Sweet. Ready to go again?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Got my dice.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Nope. Nope.
No.
Nope.
No.
I got it.
Ah! Okay.
Ah.
I got a 6 and a 1 on my last one. It's like, ah!
I got 2 5s.
Nice.
Also, for those of you watching, the numbers don't mean anything. I just like saying what I got. It's just fun.
It's fun. It's sharing.
Okay. Got another lead. I think we are. Let's do a little bit of a scene before we get into the next one. I want to do a little bit of like maybe. Well, let me see what the card is first. Maybe the card will give us a scene.
Yeah.
All of the cards
Yeah,
we've gotten
that's
so
true.
far have been very like internal monologue, and I'm ready for some stage direction. 7 of clubs. Okay. 7 of clubs. Your weapon is broken in an encounter with the monster. Do you attempt to repair it or abandon it and fashion a new weapon from it from what you can find in this place? That's terrible for me.
Do you attempt to repair it then?
I
You're fighting me with icicles, bud.
Well, okay. Let's role play the scene.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how do I find you? What's the location that we're at where I get to jump on you?
I think when the cloud layer parts for a moment, because we're deep in the heart of winter, there's not much sun really. But in the few hours of daylight that we do have, when the clouds part, you catch the sun reflecting off a formation in the ice ahead of you, and you catch a glimpse of a difference in the terrain, which would not have been possible to see otherwise. And I don't know that you know the location where I'm hiding is, so you're able to get the drop on me by silently trekking across the tundra and just kind of physically invading the space.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect you to, because had the cloud cover held out, I was completely hidden.
You would have been camouflaged.
Yeah.
I think that I think Salim would have kind of snuck around, having noticed that this very unusually lumpy shape does not gleam in the sunlight like the rest of the ice and the rocks.
Yeah.
And I think he creeps into the neighboring stoneworks, hides almost alongside the lichen growing in this area, feels the shiver of these massive glaciers just around the corner, and will use Blood Runner and take a swipe at your ankles, like almost like your Achilles tendon, Try and prevent you from having the most ability to like get out of the situation.
Yeah. And when I think you catch me as I'm facing away from you when you try to go for the Achilles. But what you see is a very large figure creature thing. Definitely not a moose. You've gathered that. It's for one thing, most of the pelt covering it is formally white.
Yes.
And you're like, unless there's Arctic moose out here, probably
I don't think there's
not a
any
moose.
white maces.
Yeah. But because of the layers and layers upon me, I think you miscalculate where my foot would be. And you swipe at what you think is the creature's foot. And so you cut into pelt, but you don't get at my actual ankle. And so that gives me the time to turn around, and now we're in a fight.
And now I'm just looking up at you, realizing like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
And like towering above you, what you do see is something that looks like it has 4 different shaped skulls.
Whoa.
Because there's like the skulls have kind of decayed and shapen with time. You don't know how old some of these pelts are. This whole getup has seen a lot of battle, so like there's cracks and chunks missing, but there's a lot of bone, a lot of blood, a lot of fur. You can't tell what the original color of anything here was because it's all this like taupe.
Yeah.
Beige. It's just it's ratty, it's matted, a mix of browns and whites and yellows from
just using it.
Yeah, from just existing out here. And there is a very low guttural snarl in response to your attack.
I think in the split moment that Salim recognizes that this is no longer just an animal. Like, this is actually like a full-blown mythical creature of some kind. Looks up and just, there is a deep-seated fear that just like strikes through his body in the way that something unknown just is now looking at you and probably does not have the same fear of you that you have of it, right? Like, you've probably seen tons of humans. Like, I'm not anybody to you. And the size difference is so staggering. I don't think he's even necessarily, like, conceptualized a being to even be this massive. He might have seen an elephant one time, right? Like...
Yeah.
So, like, that was, like, that's a big animal, versus, like, this is, like, a few stories tall, minimum. And in that split second, he feels that fear, and then he immediately tenses up, grabs Blood Runner, and shouts out, "My name is Salim, and you will not survive this day. Prepare to feel your blood run." And we'll go and swing again. How do you break the sword?
Trying to picture this, and I think what happens is as you come up with the sword, instead of kind of fending you with the opposite arm like you would expect in like a sword fight, this creature bends the same arm as you in a very weird way and swipes the sword in an entirely different direction, because you know how battle physics work. You know how things should go in a fight. But as I mentioned before, we talked about too many angles, too many joints on this thing. It moves in a way that is not human or animal that you've ever encountered. And so it catches you at the wrong angle, and the sword just drips out of your hand because it forces your hand into an unnatural shit. And but the carry through of that very awkward, intense motion is that it grabs the sword and smashes it against the inner wall of the cave. And Damascus steel is incredibly freaking strong.
Yes.
It should not break.
Yes.
But the strength of the creature in front of you it didn't even seem like that great an exertion of force. It was one hand motion, but the sword is caught between its hand under all of this pelt and the side of the cave, and the sword cracks right down the middle.
I think as it fractures, there is a almost like deep, aberrant sound that emanates from the sword, like a as just like this magic that had been kind of sealed within it is now loose. It escapes. And there is a very real moment of, oh shit, it's broken. Salim has used this for years and years and years. This was originally a gift from a Danesgeld from ages past, and was kind of passed on to him as reward for a different bounty. And he had it specifically alchemied by a druid in Ireland. Like, this was something that like had a lot of care and time, and this is a very precious item in a lot of ways for Salim.
Probably the most valuable item on
this is
like,
the one,
valuable to you at least.
Yeah, this is the one item that I think has seen the most of this world. Even the clothes on Salim's body get rotated regularly from just damage. Armor breaks, shields crack, but that sword has withstood many, many decades of fighting.
I will say, I think when the sword cracks in that giant, depends on what Salim does when it cracks.
Mm-hmm.
I think Vola's gonna make a run for it.
I think so. I think that would be the reasonable thing to do. How would you describe the manner in which you escape? Do you scurry? Do you stride away? Do you
It is a faster scurry than something my size should be able to do. But it is definitely a crawling out of this cave on all fours, because it's a very normal sized cave. I'm very large.
Yes.
So there's a little bit of like angles and multiple elbows and scurrying and like I'm just imagining like bear claws like flying around, as I bounce. And then but when I lope off into a run, it's so fast, and you can't really tell whether I'm on all fours or bipedal when I'm running away.
Yeah. Wow. Wouldn't that be horrible if just like large animals just like scurried like bugs? That's terrible. I think in that moment, Salim almost kind of forgets he's in the middle of battle, because the sword breaking is so shocking. He goes and grabs the blade that you said it had like split down the middle, right? Almost like where the cleft of the sword is.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's like fractured. It's not like necessarily like it's not entirely usable. Like you could probably bound this thing back together, but it's definitely not going to be as effective. And
whether or not the magic will.
And the
return.
magic seems to have just been like lost in that moment, just like because it was being channeled through the sword. So it's a very unfortunate moment of like, there goes my advantage, I guess. I don't think he can fix it necessarily, so I think he will still hold on to it. He has other assorted weapons as well, just like daggers and, he might have a bow and arrow or something like that, but nothing that would have been as good as that sword would have been in order to in order to fight something of this caliber.
Yeah.
But I'm 1 of 3 so far, so let's keep rolling.
Yeah. Let's roll.
Nope. Nope.
Stop rolling so far from each other.
Nope.
Oh, got it!
Ah!
2 6s.
2 6s. We need those in Streets of Gotham, I'll tell you what.
I know, right? These dice never roll like that when it matters. But it doesn't matter here, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
And draw.
cards for me.
Yes, I will scooch this back to 0.
This is a very even fight so far.
Yeah, we've really been going back and forth. We haven't gotten even past 1.
I know. Alright, it is the 10 of diamonds.
Diamonds. Right, let's see what the 10 of diamonds has in store for us. 10 of diamonds. In an encounter with the hunter, you severely injure them. How do you feel as you watch them retreat to tend their wounds? So we have another RP scene on our hands.
Yeah.
We can really get
So
into
how
it.
long after our first encounter is this one?
I think there's so many thoughts running through Salim's head. First of all, that you exist and that you really are like kind of as terrifying as everybody claimed you were. 4 skulls is just too many. I must say. You shattered the sword that he had been using for years and years that gave him such a good upper hand in so many of these fights, just with regular beasts. But there's also this moment of like, I know where you are. I have you. I have found maybe not your home, but a den of yours, right? Like I know that you can use caverns, and I know your size. I know that you have this kind of pelt covering with lots of strange joints and bone protrusions, and you don't really move right, or like how I think you would move, and just there's this sense of like I'm learning new information, and I feel like acting on this now, I'm going to have the best advantage of getting another shot at you, right?
Yeah.
So I think maybe in a sense of desperation, Salim is going to go after you pretty soon after, like probably within a few hours.
Yep.
I think you probably would have lost him in some like fog or mist or something akin to that, but probably would have picked up on your trail after he could find your direction.
I think you find me by not far from the water. Like you could see it on the horizon. And the reason you find me is because after all this mention of just how deprived I am of food, I have found a polar bear, and I am eating. So, even giant, what would seem like predators are vulnerable when they're when they're eating.
Even apex predators don't stand a chance. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think he would have taken note of that, but I don't think it would have stopped him. I think that kind of desperation strikes him again, and he I think this area would be a lot flatter than where we just were, a lot more open. I think you would have been able to see him pretty quick. If not quickly followed by his kind of self-impressed war cries as he tries to charge at you.
Yeah.
I
certainly hear you coming.
Yeah, you would have heard me at some point.
Yeah. And I think in a split-second decision of to fight or flee, you're too close. We're fighting. And I think what you would notice as we fought was, first of all, you quickly find yourself covered in some of the blood that I'm covered on, because there's a polar bear open right there. And my clawed hands are covered in them, and those are the ones that I'm slashing at you with. But you notice that a lot of what I'm trying to do is push you away from me. Like, I'm trying to slash you away from me. And how it says that I severely injure you. How severe are we going?
Ooh. Severely injure implies, like, it's not just like, ow! It's like, it's gonna impact me a lot too, right? Like,
yes. So
I would say you could fuck up my arm. You could take a leg, maybe get, I don't know how, you could get an eye.
I think what happens is, as what like, I try to push you away, you come back, we fought, we brawl. What are you fighting with, daggers?
I think at this point he would have just used daggers. Yeah.
Okay. And so what I do is I backhand you and I fling you, and I think you just land wrong on the ice and you break a leg.
Ooh. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's really bad. After that, do you...
I mean, bad enough to make you retreat, because you do.
Yeah, I have to
tend
retreat.
To your boots.
Yeah.
Yeah. A broken leg is gonna pull you out of a fight.
Yeah, that's no quick fix.
Mm-mm.
And then do you just, like, scurry off again? Do you, like... You're just...
No. I'm staying here. This is my bear.
Okay, cool.
I'm not done eating. Maybe I look at you and I don't know if I get back to... Depending on what you do, I'm either going to get back to eating or I'm going to start dragging this bear with me.
I think a broken leg at, like, 50 is pretty awful. And he's out here by himself. He doesn't have a lot of, like, medical support. So
no,
he's just trying his best to just, like, get back, I think, and just kind of, like, backwards hobble towards cover. Clearly, he does not want more fight. Like, that's not on the agenda. I think he's Vala, almost like it's like a swear, you know. And goes back, and I think he might go on, like, he might be gone for a while, until he can, like, get some, like, actual, like, recovery done. So you probably would have kept him off your tail for maybe even a few weeks. So that definitely would have bought you some time. How do you spend those next few weeks as Salim returns back to the village and just recovers?
Continue to live and hunt and survive off the land. I don't know who you are. You have real questions as to whether I understood your grunting at me in a language that is from not here. I don't know if you'll be back.
Yeah. Do you do
like,
anything...
why would you be back?
Do you do anything in preparation if someone returns? Or do you just, like, keep going about your business? Do you just like, well, there goes another human?
I keep going about my business.
All right.
There's nothing really that I know to do to prepare.
Yeah.
My preparation is staying alive and, finding shelter from the elements, eating, living, existing. That is all I can do to prepare.
Yeah. Yeah. Wild stuff. Pretty cookie.
Look at our little tracker right in the middle.
Right in the middle, just like it was an hour ago. Are you ready to go again?
Yeah, let's do it.
That's the hard part of this game. Is just getting 3.
Oh wow. Okay.
successive
Well, I got
wins.
3s again.
Okay. Well, there we go. All right. So now you're in the lead for
These
once.
little guys.
Your 3s just coming out to play.
I know.
You were in the lead for the first time.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
You get to draw another card.
Da-da-da. 4 of diamonds.
4 of diamonds. Let's see. You leave a message for the hunter. Where do you leave the message and what does it say?
Confusing. Because, okay, do I know you're back on the hunt?
I don't know.
Because I think the only way I'm going to leave you a message is if, like, all those weeks have passed and you're back on the hunt. Because I don't know if you're here or you're gone.
I don't think I've returned on a hunt, but I think other villagers might have been emboldened to go after you. Because I saw you and lived. I didn't come out great, but I lived, right? So I think in the pursuing weeks after, there would have been other people coming after you. This is probably the most like repeated like attacks on you from people, from humans that has happened in a long time.
Because you galvanized them, basically.
Yeah.
By them being like, okay, you went alone and you did this. If we go in a group, we might do better.
Yeah.
Things like that.
I might even have like a party on the next one. Who knows?
Okay. Did you take your sword with you, your broken sword?
I took it with me, yes. That's still very
You
dear
did,
to
okay.
me, so I still have the sword.
I think what the message that comes back for you is one of the party that came after me comes back soaked in blood, lots of injuries, but like shoved awkwardly by not them into the back of their tunic. Not in a way that stabbed them, but just like kind of placed there are 5 swords. And when the people in the town get these swords off of this person who's like they crawled back, right? Like they barely got there.
Yeah.
Those swords are all split in the middle.
I think this happens in the middle. You know, let's roleplay the scene. Because I want to do the scene of him entering, like, back into town. I think at this moment, as Salim has been, like, recovering, he's been kind of entertaining a lot of the villagers of tales from his own life, some of the great epics, you know, of the sagas, of gods and
Does Gilgamesh exist by now? Then you gotta share that one.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna be just like Gilgan and Kiddu. That's kind of how I've gotten a little bit more like, not respect, because the people respected me for being able to survive, but more so just like I still have worth even if I'm not actively fighting, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I'm enjoying a nice ale on the house as the door swings open very loudly, very suddenly. Describe the guy who's been like impaled by 5 swords.
So you see this kind of tweed of a guy come in definitely not your first choice for having had survived this encounter, but you, as a seasoned warrior, know that this guy was probably on this hunt because he's smart. He's not necessarily the strongest or burliest of the villagers, but he's probably good at tracking. He's probably good at spotting differences, things like that. So
he's like a great huntsman.
Like the ranger vibes, right?
Yeah.
And you get the feeling that his tendency to keep distance is probably why he's here. But he is a ratty tweet of a man, as I described, and already, like, covered in blood, both his and not his, like a large gash down the side of his face, clutching a wound in his side, and probably the reason he's still up is because his wound was in his side and not to his heart or head. And the door opens and he stumbles forward and is probably caught by one of the other patrons in the establishment, who immediately recognize him. And as they catch him, it's one of those things where he had the adrenaline to get back, but now that he's back, that sudden drop happens.
Yeah.
And he just collapses on the floor. And as he falls to the floor, you see the swords that are tucked, slashed, impaling. Like, the wounds on the back are actually not like terrible, but it's more like the swords are shoved in there, and whatever happened as they went in happened. So there's like lacerations back there for sure.
Are they very, like, by the description it sounds like it was rather forceful, but were they, like, done in such a way where it was like slips between ribs, or just like literally like however you could fit 5 swords into a guy?
Like almost like grabbed by the the scruff of the shirt tunic and like just shoved swords in there.
Okay.
But not being a creature of finesse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this being a pretty, especially compared to the
guy.
monster, like a diminutive guy, it definitely causes damage, but you don't get the sense that damage was the purpose. Definitely the message was.
Yeah. There's definitely, I think, the crowd in the tavern are immediately like, oh my god. As they just like witness someone who they have all grown up with just like return and just straight up just like collapse in front of them with like all these swords in his back. And there's something
pro card right now.
yeah.
Swords.
And you see at first Salim is just like was expecting a fight, seeing all those swords as soon as he came in the door, but then he was just like, oh, it's just the one guy. Oh, those swords are in him. Oh. And then like there's just sort of like this like very sorrowful kind of expression, like more not disturbed, but definitely like a little bit peeved, or more of like a taboo, because like to die valiantly is better than to die in a cowardly fashion. And it seems like Vala did not give this poor huntsman like an honorable death. This was like a fuck you in a way that like not just like was kind of horrible for him right now, but also would like affect him in the next life in the spiritual realm, right? So that definitely like makes Salim, who's not really like a religious guy, but definitely like is respectful of like those kinds of customs and has grown up around it, to be like affected by those like social standards, to be like that's a gruesome way to die in like a lot of different ways. So damn Vala, you crazy.
Ma would have saved him But we're not in modern times.
Yeah, true. Oh well, I'll just have to wait another 1,000 years or something.
It's fine.
No.
No. The first.
I got it.
You got it. Nice.
Back to 0.
It's the first time I rolled a 3 and not a 3. I rolled a 3 and a 6.
3 and a 6. Okay, back to me.
Yeah.
Draw me a card, if you would. King of Clubs. Very exciting. King of Clubs. What are you most afraid of?
Ooh.
That's a really good question for this character, because there's so much that I think this character did not necessarily live the life that necessarily he would have wanted to live. Like, he doesn't have a family, and that's like really rare, you know, in this sort of society where like you're expected to have lots and lots of kids, and those kids go off and do their own thing, and then you just keep cranking out more kids, and you know,
Hopefully some of them survive.
hopefully some of them live, you know, and hopefully you have a wife that lives and a dad that lives, you know, and just like,
Yeah.
you know, mortality is kind of the law of the land around here. There's no hospitals. It's just like midwives and shit like that, right? So, in a lot of ways, I think his fear is that he will not make an impact. That he won't, because a lot of what he does is for glory, in a sense, right? Like he's killing these great grand beasts. He's hunting. He tells these great tales that have entertained him for months at sea, right? He remembers the faces of many other Vikingers who have been lost in glorious ways, in shameful ways. He knows some of them have very specifically like been cowards and like fled scenes, turned tail, worked for the enemy even, as sellswords or mercenaries, and he doesn't have that luxury of having progeny to continue his name, right? There is no Selim II.
Yeah.
And I think him having done so much of his life towards living boldly, living on the edge, trying to tackle, sometimes literally, these great challenges in life and wrestling with them, and not just wrestling them in the sense of like physically, but also in the sense of like, I am trying to contend in a world where like I have to come out top dog every single time or else I die. And if I don't die in the fight, I might get executed later, right? So there's also this fear of failure that comes with that, right? So like, not only if he does not manage to kill Vala, not only is he just gonna die and like not live up to his reputation that has kind of preceded him a little bit, but also he will have failed possibly the greatest way that he could possibly ever fail, because so many of these other quarries have been very mundane. They've been just generic animals of the woods. He's assassinated people. That's not super rare. He's fought great armies. That was pretty fun. But, you know, it's not anything necessarily that makes him unique.
No, this is your shot at glory.
And if he fails now, he might never have been worthy of the name to begin with. So, yeah. I think that's what he's most afraid of.
Okay.
Wow.
I love it. That's a lot to carry with you, buddy.
Uh-huh.
All right, we going?
Let's go! Whoop! Nope.
Got it!
Oh, there we go.
Jeez, back to the middle. 2 6s this time.
2 6?
Right down the middle.
Nice. Okay, moving it back to 1. Go ahead and pull a card.
All right. Do you think we're just gonna walk in circles?
I
for
wonder.
eternity?
I wonder if this will just be a very long game of cat and mouse.
Who's the cat?
I think just size-wise, I would be the mouse. 2 of hearts.
All right. Also,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I gotcha.
yeah, you got it. 2 hearts. Dose.
2 of hearts.
Ooh.
2 hearts that beat ass. 2 of hearts. Anyway.
You. Oh, okay.
No, go for it.
You and the hunter become locked in a scuffle, and they say something to you that catches you off guard. What is it?
Ooh. Well, that's for
So
you
you're
to
back.
decide.
You're back out.
I'm back out there. It's been a few weeks. I'm recovering. I think, very fun development. They had to cut off my leg. They had to amputate me. And now I have not a peg leg, because it's not necessarily just like a stub, but like a prosthetic, of some kind. Ooh, it would be so cool if it was the head of a longship. So it has that like draconic heraldry incorporated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yes. It does make a lot of my maneuvering a lot more difficult, but luckily I don't have to go through too much rough terrain through these areas necessarily. I think my question for you is, do you think Celine gets the jump, or do you spot him first?
Well, like the beginning of our fight that we didn't showcase because we were in the middle of when we started.
Yes.
But like the beginning, I think with all those weeks that have passed, yes, there have been groups of raiders from raiders to Vala that have come out, but there hasn't been anything out of the ordinary. So I think Vala's kind of gone back to their original ways, like going back. So their guard's not as high up. They haven't been hunted properly in a while. They've had some fights. They've ended those fights. Life has carried on. And I think it's almost like Vala's guard has dropped so much that they're in one of their locations that maybe you've already scouted before. That's closer, not that far from town. It's probably like 1 day outside town, as opposed to like how far the encounter at the polar bear was that you had to come back from. Like that was much, much, much further out. This is pretty close to town, and I think you get the drop on Vala. And what are your fighting implements now that you?
I think the move has been to switch to arrows. So now it has a proper longbow.
Okay.
And in the event that things do get up close again, we'll switch to daggers like he had before. Just because he doesn't have that same mobility as he has had up to this point with the new amputation. He is playing more of a long distance game.
And I think if you catch Vala as Vala's going out to hunt, you probably even one of your arrows probably hit true. And so Vala turns, but Vala is a melee fighter. That giant burly figure that you saw run out of the cave and into the distance is making those same movements, but barreling towards you. And as Vala gets close, is just going to dive, and I'm assuming we're just gonna roll as we make contact and like actually be in like a physical scuffle now. So I have to decide what you say at this
You
moment?
have to tell me what I say to you in order to get you to hesitate, to think for a second.
I think amidst our growls and grunts and fight sounds, you say, I need this. And that catches Vala off guard because Vala has never heard not just those words, but the desperation in your voice, which matches Vala's. The desperation of Vala's existence.
Yeah. I think the first time we fought, it was very... It was almost blasé in a lot of ways on Salim's part, in the sense of like, again, this is probably just another random creature. Knowing now what you are and how much this will mean in the grand scheme of the in the grand scheme of his life, he recognizes that this is no longer just a quarry. This is no longer just like something to bag and bring back and chop up and have for dinner, right? This is going to be an epic tale, if he lives to see it. And there is a hunger to it, in the sense of like almost when you kill to eat the flesh of whatever you have come across, do you have that same need of like, I must finish this? Or is this more of just like I'm completing something in a very like, it's done? Do you understand what I'm trying to ask?
I think Vala doesn't have that sense of I need to complete this, because I think Vala, like we've talked about, doesn't waste things. So like the completion is a part of that. I think it's just a natural like it's not gone till it's gone.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But yeah, I just with the words I need this, I don't think Vala would understand what it is you need.
Yeah.
But Vala recognizes and relates immediately to the tone, to the actual words, and to need. And I think in that moment, assuming you spoke the tongue of the natives, the locals, Vala will respond,
Oh, you didn't come through.
oh, I didn't catch it. It's just like a why.
I'm gonna roll to see if I know this language. I got a 6, so I'm gonna say yes.
It's the same. It's, you don't know if Vala speaks the language or if Vala's just picked up stuff by virtue of being around this village for a long time. But if you were there for several weeks, telling tales, you probably can understand easily.
You asked why. I think that there is a wild, deranged look in Salim's eyes as he like looks between the 4 skulls, trying to see which one is the one that just spoke. And
it's not the one you think.
It's not that one.
Not that one.
And will just was trying to almost like pry himself out of your grasp as he's doing it. And he says, because the only good Vikinger is a dead one with a good story. And he'll try and like wrest himself from your clutches.
Why should I die for your story?
There's just a pause. This moment of, oh my god, is this creature actually intelligent? What? And he just takes a moment to breathe heavy. Why do you care? Haven't you lived for eons? Aren't you tired too? What'd you say?
No.
No. You're lucky. You might like it. And we'll try to get another shot off, if you can. Do we want to roll again to see if there's just like another immediate course of action?
Yeah, let's find out.
This feels like this could be a multiple card encounter.
Yeah. Oh,
I
so
got
close.
it.
You got it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
2 4s.
Nice.
Back to 0.
Back to 0.
Wow. Okay, I will say after this, I think we should do a break.
Yes,
I
I gotta go get my dindins.
Yeah, go get your dinnies. Okay, let's draw another card.
Okay.
Card me.
Yeah.
Queen of clubs. So many clubs. Everybody
Mary
in the club
Morstan.
getting tipsy. Queen of clubs. Who wanted to join you on your hunt? Do you regret making them stay behind? I do regret making them stay behind. To answer that question first, this is so much scarier. You're so smart. Did not expect that. You can talk? What?
Who was it though?
Ooh. There was someone I wish could have came, and there was someone I am glad did not come. One who I was glad did not come was a small boy who was like infatuated with a lot of the tales. That, in the way that many young boys just love stories of adventure and like glory seeking, right? Of just like, I want to be like you, you know. And he thought it was cute. He knew that this kid definitely would not live to see another day if he ever came close to this thing. Like, I am assuming that Vala is not particularly, like, respectful of children, in the sense of, like, children are these sacred beings that deserve love and happiness and joy, and, you know, every life is precious until it's not. So I or at least that's what Salim would imagine, is that, like, this thing has been literally documented by these people to eat babies. So, like, I'm not taking chances. The person that he wishes would have come was an older, not older, but like a 20-something Vikinger who was from around this area. She is about 20, 22 maybe, and she's pretty respectable. She hasn't had a lot of like grand adventures necessarily, but she has defended her people from a lot of bad shit, from raids of other Vikingers who have come to try and take this town, to just bad years like the one that we are experiencing now in this town in Greenland, where like sometimes part of being a warrior is fighting for your people, in a sense of like sometimes you just gotta go find food. Like,
Yeah.
you just gotta forage, you gotta hunt. So she's also
Do what's necessary.
yeah, she's quite adept at being a survivalist. And I think, especially with his bit of an impairment that he's still adjusting to, trying to get used to. A fresh set of legs wouldn't be bad either. I think he's definitely a little sad that she didn't come, but that the image of her is also kind of keeping him going. That, like, I will not be the last Viking to ever attempt to take down this if I die.
So did she choose to stand, or did you
I
ask her to?
I told her not to come because I think part of it is that there are many stories of, like, warriors as, like, an army, like, having great successes, but no one person ever gets the glory of it, right? It's just kind of shared. It's cumulative. Whereas, like, if you are the one guy who slayed this one dragon, then that is your dragon, right? So I think there's a little bit of an ego thing to it. Not that that's a bad thing in this culture. It's more just like, this is my job.
Yeah.
You'll have your own job when you're my age, you know? So
This is my chance for glory.
yes.
All right. So did we want to take that break now, or
Let's go ahead and take a quick break. We've been playing for almost 2 hours, which is nuts. As you guys have seen, if you've been watching this whole time, this game goes back and forth a lot, depending. It's been very even keel most of this game. Hopefully, we will be able to resolve it relatively soon. But
we had 10 prompts.
we've had 10 prompts. That's how many we've gone through. And hopefully, either Salim or Vala will be victorious in this hunt. We shall see.
We locked in eternal fight like Gandalf at the Balrog.
for an eternity.
Yeah.
But yeah, stick around. We'll be taking. Do you want a 10, a 15?
It's good. I'm just gonna go down and get my food.
Okay, just scarf it down. Okay.
Yep.
We'll be back in 10. We'll be back at 10:05 Eastern, or whatever your damn time zone is. The 5 minutes after the hour.
Yeah.
We shall see you in just a bit. Goodbye.
A fallen log, thank God. Just duck behind it and stay fucking silent. My heart won't stop racing. I feel like he could hear it from... What? Wait, where is he? Okay, just get a peek, slowly, so you don't rustle these damn dry leaves. There he is. He hasn't spotted me. Christ, I might actually get out of this. He's walking away. Good. Keep walking, asshole. Why the fuck does he want to kill me anyway? I've done everything I possibly could to stay out of trouble, and he still wants to hunt me down? And who the hell is he anyway? Like he doesn't have a few skeletons in his own closet. I bet we could find out. I bet he's worse than I could ever be. You know what? Fuck it. Why am I hiding behind this log like a child? You want a monster? I'll be a fucking monster.
Hunter Hunted is a 2-player TTRPG that weaves together narrative scenes in a fast-paced dice-rolling sprint that sends players racing headlong into the hunt, coming face to face with their own humanity and monstrosity as they do. One player will be playing the hunter, the pursuer, driven and steadfast in their quest to track and slay their quarry. The other will be playing the monster, the pursued, alienated and hated by those who have crossed their path, determined to survive by any means necessary. The two will pursue each other as the players race to advance their token off the tracker first, drawing a prompt with each advance made and answering it through roleplay as the events of the hunt, as well as the memories of the hunter and monster, are revealed. At the end, whoever is the first to advance their token off the tracker has claimed the upper hand once and for all. The hunt is over, and now they must make a choice. Do they dispatch their opponent, or allow them to flee with their life?
Well, bam! Look at that! We're back!
Yeah.
Yeah! For those of you who might have tuned in just before we went offline, I'm Andre and this is Puja, and we're playing a game that our friends Dillin and Meghan made called Hunter Hunted. It slaps. It's really good. And if you want to get it, there's currently a Kickstarter active right now that's already fully funded that you can help contribute to and push for even more stretch goals if you want. I don't know if we've already hit the next stretch goal, which was like the custom deck, was it? Or there was a different one. I don't remember what it was. But one of them is that for the Kickstarter, there will be a limited run of custom-made Hunter Hunted cards that will have the prompts on them.
Oh, cool.
Yes. And that'll be an add-on that you can add on later as the pledges are being fulfilled. So, if that's something you're interested in, please consider supporting the campaign. It has been funded, so it will be being made. So, yeah. Last we left off, we were in the midst of a bit of a scuffle, a bit of a brawl between me. I am playing Salim, a Vikinger, against Puja, who's playing Vala, who is what are you? Just a creature, a beast, a monster. Some sort of eldritch.
People call me.
Fucker. Yeah. And things have been very back and forth. No one's really gotten a great upper edge at any point. It's been very back and forth. So,
like literally, we've gone from 1 to 0 to 1 to 0 to 1 to 0 to 1 to 0.
No one's made it to 2. I'm hoping we can make it to at least 2. We might get to a point where, just because we're running on a little bit of like limited time, if the furthest we can make it is
do
2,
a part 2.
we could do a part 2. But if we need to call it at like 2 is the new winning condition, I would be okay with that, depending on if you're cool with that.
See how it goes. We might just get 2 in a row real fast.
We might get 2 in a row real fast, and then we'll see if there's a winner. So stay on our toes, but you better put down your fork and put up your dice if you're ready to roll. Ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
3, 2, 1, go! Oh, I got it! That was fast.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Double forced again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Damn. Okay.
Hey. Draw me a black card if you would.
Oh, these are the ones we've done. Oops.
Oops.
I drew Mary again. I was like, that's not right. We haven't done this one, right? We did
10 of clubs?
before.
Let me double check. No. Ooh, this is a good one. What traces of past hunters do you find here? That's a good question. Here's my take on it. Here's my take on it.
Yeah.
I don't think they're hunters in the sense of also being humans, also, having sought out Vala to duel necessarily. I think in the context of this question, hunters are like other beasts. I don't necessarily think polar bears are massive, but we literally just saw you eating one. I don't think they're necessarily going to be. They're not gonna solo you 1v1 and get away with it.
Yeah.
Which I think maybe what you might have around this den of yours is a litany of stripped orca skeletons I think maybe in a past battle, you might have noticed the orcas and sought them a little bit. But orcas are, one, very large, obviously, but also extremely smart and extremely predatory. Like, they will just, like, hunt you. That's just... We've all seen all the stories this past few years about orcas and yachts, right? Like, they will just fuck up your day. It's just... They'll do it. They don't care. They're orcas. Orcas are some of the most, like, disrespectful animals in the whole world. It's nuts. Have you seen the one of, them playing with the stingray? They just batter this poor stingray around. It's terrible.
No.
Anyway, I think those are the hunters that I find here specifically. I mean, we're still in the middle of a fight.
Yes, we are.
But these orcas are, again, it's just their carcasses, it's just their bones, but we're pretty far inland at this point. I don't think this is necessarily like one of your stomping grounds that's closer to the shorelines or the edge of the ice flows necessarily, right? This is pretty deep in. This is more mountainous area, and I think you would have had to have like dragged these orcas back here, and that shows almost a sense of like, not reverence necessarily, but definitely like a trophy, you know, in the same way that like mounted head would have been a trophy for some of the villagers back in that tavern, right? I think that's maybe the trace of a past hunter that Salim notices at this moment. Okay.
Love that. Past hunter you find is me.
Is you. Alright, ready?
Alright, let's go.
No. Oh no.
Oh, damn it.
No.
No.
No. Please.
Ah, God.
Ah.
Nope.
No. Oh, I got it.
No.
Okay. 2 1s. The only time 2 1s has ever been good.
Snake eyes.
Yeah. I'm at 2.
All right. You are at 2.
Wow. I'm so close. Just one more win and I win.
You're so good at hunting.
Okay. Draw me another card. 2 of spades. What about the monster surprises you the most? I'll tell you what. You talking was a real out of left field swing. Like that was nuts, because it makes sense now why this wasn't just a beast anymore, and like why those stories kind of proliferated is because you are very intelligent. Like you are able to very quickly dispose of me and one of my like staple means of attacking you in a matter of seconds. Like it was not close at all. Like that, you wiped me basically. And there's a part of Salim that's kind of mournful about that, because there's great honor in finding someone who is a worthy opponent. You know, like this won't be. You won't be an adversary of mine that I'll be able to fight over and over and over again, and like continue this like this duel for all intents and purposes. Either because you'll kill me or I'll kill you, but it's definitely not. It's not going to be respectful enemies at this point. It's a shame, because you are a great adversary in a lot of ways. You're different. You're challenging. You're unknown in a lot of ways. You engage very interestingly, And there's a lot of you I still don't know about. There's so much of, like, how are you even composited? How are you made? How are you, how did you come to be? I don't even know if there's just like an origin story for you, in the way that, like, like Medusa, chopped her head off and then a Pegasus flew out, right? Like, that's not, we don't know where you came from. You always existed. So there's a lot of you that, if there were to be some sort of poem written about us, that he wished that there was more to tell besides just you were a great beast. And maybe, all of the local folk tales and stories are continually just being embedded into the story that's being told, but they won't know the real you in the way that I do. They won't understand. Everything gets lost in translation.
Sure. You probably have a good sense that you have become the one he may have spent the most time with,
which is weirdly intimate. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, you wanna
all right,
roll?
let's roll.
This could be the end of the game.
This could be the end of the game. All right, let's go.
Oh, that was so close. I got it.
You got it?
I got it.
Oh!
Snake Eyes
Nice.
again!
Wow! Amazing. Love it.
Oh my god. Okay. I want this to be a good one. I hope it's nice and juicy and that we can.
So we do one more card and then we do the end game?
Yes, one more card and then we do the end game.
Alright.
This is also the first game that I've played where the hunter wins, which is very interesting.
Oh, I hope this one's good.
Ace of Clubs. Let's go. Let's go. You spend hours setting an elaborate trap for the monster. How is it constructed? How do you set it to ensure it ensnares the monster?
Is that how you win the scuffle we're in?
I guess so. Well, okay. I don't think this is the same scuffle. I think we have to end the last scuffle and then set up for this next one. Because this one feels like it should be a different thing. So
yeah.
We just had a nice little lovely conversation where I said, I need this, and you said why, and I was like, because the only good Viking is a dead one with a good story or something like that. And then what?
I think I said, why must I die for your stories?
Why must I die for your stories?
Mm-hmm. I think you asked me if I was exhausted.
Aren't you tired? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said no, and then I said you might like it, and then I shot you.
Yeah. And I think that might have ended with me knocking you out and running away.
Yes. So you would have
for reasons you don't understand. I didn't kill you.
Yes. So you knock me out, and then just leave me there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a stillness where in the quiet depths of Salim's mind, he kind of reverts back to his youth growing up in the Eastern Roman Empire, where the sounds of marketplaces, church bells of the Eastern Orthodox chime, and there's choral music, very different from the choral music of Scandinavia. That's very hollowed and reverent in a lot of ways, whereas some of the more northern music leans more into drinking songs or more just chants, right? There's this beautiful, quiet serenity in this memory. Before he is woken up by the harsh sounds of wind screaming in his ear as it got much, much colder while he's been unconscious. And I think he gets up, staggers to his feet, feels his head pounding after being knocked out pretty forcefully. And I think he returns back to town. It's another little bit of a trek. He returns in the morning. And he goes back with a little bit of a respect for Vala that he didn't have before. And I think understanding a little bit more now that Vala is also an intelligent creature, is a creature that can perhaps be thoughtful, can try and use those thoughts to lure, to bait, and because there's some animals may not respond well to, a new stimulant given to them. They won't always engage if they're actively suspicious or just too scatterbrained to even recognize there's something new. But curiosity can be kind of toyed with, can be used as kind of a carrot on a stick to entice you towards a specific outcome. I wonder if there's just a little bit more time where just you don't hear from Salim or any of the other villagers for a long time. I think it's another few weeks maybe. We're now well into February, I would say.
Wow, okay, yeah.
It's now late winter. The melting is just around the corner. And
the sun's getting a little bit stronger.
Yeah, it's no longer predominantly night most of the day anymore, right? It's starting to feel more balanced.
Yeah.
And I think there was a special order made. He contacted a livestock owner, a connection that he has through his old war buddies, who retired and settled down with families the way that he had not. And he contacts a friend in Ireland, not far from Dublin, and asks for a strange beast to bring.
Okay.
And I think eventually there is a delivery for a camel that had been brought up north from Spain via the trade routes through the Pyrenees into France and then up through the English Channel. And this camel is not alive anymore, let me be clear. That camel died a long time ago. But was well preserved, has been salted, so there's no rot, there's no, signs of decay. It's still relatively fresh. The idea is that this is a beast you probably likely have never even seen before.
What that is.
Yeah. So the idea is to lure you back closer to town, actually, which might seem kind of counterintuitive based on all the stories. But to see if we can get you in a position where we can set off a bunch of different snares at once, rather than trying to lasso you one at at a time or something like that, right? Like this is something where it actually will take the entire town to sort of collaborate together and trying to take you down all at once. I think that's been the major move. So now it's middle of February. It is later in the day, and as you are going about your patrol through your territory, through this continually frigid climate, you notice something on the wind. There's something drafting in from the seaside. There's a scent that you don't think you've ever smelled before. It smells rich, not in a way that some of the foods that you've eaten, some of the creatures you've devoured have been gamey or have been, very lean or fatty. This might be. There's something of burnt plants that seems to have been incorporated into this somehow. It seems very bizarre that the smell of meat also has this smell of burnt plants, but the meat doesn't smell burnt or cooked in any way.
Yeah, definitely confusing. Vala's never, as you said, encountered anything like this. I don't think Vala has a point of much of comparison, other than, like you said, like plants, but fiery plants. But it's just very confusing, very intriguing. Definitely, because I think Vala knows this is a creature, this is food, but this is different. And I think Vala probably goes in with the intent to investigate, because Vala is smart enough to not just assume that this random creature has fallen here.
Yeah.
But Vala doesn't know. I think Vala doesn't know the scope of what to expect.
Yeah.
Like, Vala does not think that a whole town got together to set traps.
To coordinate, right.
Yeah. Like, this is a mission on a scale Vala has never experienced.
Yeah. I think something feels off as you approach. There is a sense of stillness that seems very unusual for being this close to the humans. And have you ever been, close to, the actual town that these villagers live in? You've definitely seen it, but have you ever actually gotten this close before? Have you ever,
So how far again is this from the actual town proper?
I would say maybe a league, maybe a mile. It's still pretty close. You can see the town.
Yeah, Vala's probably gotten within horizon distance of the town, but not much closer. So I don't think Vala's been this close.
Yeah. As you begin to approach this carcass, you see a very strange-looking creature. It resembles the deer that do live in this area of the world, but it has no antlers, so it might be a doe. Extremely long neck. That seems not useful at all. Very long, knobby, skinny legs.
How do you not get cold with your neck so far from your body?
Yeah. It does have fur. Kind of coagulates on the neck a little bit. You notice its back is very unusually shaped as well. It has this kind of lump. Maybe it might be some rearranged organs or something. You're not really sure. You'd have to come closer to inspect it necessarily, but it has these big lips that you don't know if you've ever seen on anything besides bears. Very large eyes, big eyelashes, and its feet are very wide. And it does seem like this might help in some ways with how much snow there is. It could definitely tread the snow a lot easier just having its weight distributed that way, but definitely nothing you've ever seen before. It's a very unusual creature.
I think more out of curiosity than even hunger, Vala wants to look at it some more and, like, pick it up and turn it over and bat it around and look at it, because Vala has seen essentially iterations of the same thing for as long as Vala has been.
Yeah, this might be the first new creature that has been introduced to this area since maybe, like, cattle or dogs or something.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
This is definitely a brand new creature. You approach closer, and as you're looking down, you actually, like, see the creature a little bit better, and you see it has still some fur left over, but most of it has actually been skinned. And all across it are these little flakes of what seem to be that burnt spice. Maybe it's a little bit of seeds as well. Something very rich. It smells salty like the ocean, but more like not as watery. Definitely dry. You also feel a little bit of like a bristling in the nearby brush. Is that a rabbit? Maybe. It could have just been the wind. It is still very windy in this February weather. This seems unusual.
Yeah. And I think upon hearing the brushing, I think Vala will think, I'm too close, and reach down to grab the two back legs of the creature to begin to drag it.
Mm-hmm. And as you grab at the legs, something grabs at your hands too, as the interior of this camel has actually been hollowed out, and two arms of Salim grab on and try and pull you back, and then you hear a little bit of the sound of stones grating against each other simultaneously in this moment. What do you do?
Vala, being grabbed and hearing the sound, Vala, whose every instinct is defend, survive, run, Vala wants to try to break away and run.
As you almost begin to start trying to make an escape of some kind, you quickly feel ropes being triggered, and very suddenly one of your many feet has been tangled, and then with that rope tangling that one foot, it wipes out all the others, and you feel your balance knock, and you collapse to the floor a little bit as Salim, still holding on to your hand that had been grabbing the camel, flies with you a little bit. And how hard were you grabbing onto the camel after you recognized, like, there were hands attached to you at that point?
Hands attached. We're in self-defense mode. So the let go of the camel.
You drop the camel. Camel just falls to the ground, but Celine comes with you, and kind of is like flung around very quickly, and almost like one of those amusement park rides where you're just flung from side to side. And
yeah, because Vala's full thrashing.
Yeah, full thrashing, and very suddenly out of the brush, it seems like maybe 10, 15 people just jump you. And they're quickly climbing all over you, trying to find somewhere to like find purchase for their blades or their just to start beating you down. And they start kind of hog tying you a little bit. They have more rope, tons and tons and tons of rope.
Yeah.
What are you feeling right now as this band of people just suddenly appears to try and restrain you?
First, Vala feels the rush of battle, like every encounter, whether that has been with human or the things Vala has survived on. It's a fight. But I think as it's very clear that Vala can't shed these bonds this time, that adrenaline rush gives way to desperation and fear. And it's that same desperation to survive that Vala recognized. Well, not desperation, sorry, but it's that same desperation that Vala recognized in your words.
Yes.
That is the desperation you see from Vala right now.
Very good. With that, I would like to introduce the final little bits of the end game of the hunt must end. When the token has been moved off of the tracker, or for our case, just to the third position, either the hunter or the monster has caught their adversary and now has the power to end the hunt and possibly their adversary's life. To determine how the story ends, the player who ends the game with the upper hand gains narrative control, effectively the GM of the final scene. The other players encouraged to roleplay, ask questions to further the narrative, and offer input on the last scene. The final outcome is left in the hands of the GM. Will you kill your opponent, find common ground, flee? Let the narrative journey that led you here inform this decision. So, there's a bit of a lull this moment as you can feel all of these bodies kind of clambering on top of you, and Salim, still in your hands, manages to kind of climb around and make his way kind of onto your wrist a little bit, just for like a little bit of like a more steady grip.
Mm-hmm.
As he calls out, "You were a good fight. Not good enough. I'm sorry. You seem wise."
Just desperate plea, and Vala's voice says, "No! You don't understand!"
What wouldn't I understand?
I think Vala just says, "No!" Because I'm assuming at this point the people are stabbing a little bit. Are they attacking Vala? Yeah. Vala just says, "No! No! And I think Vala looks you in the eyes and says, "You need this."
There's a very sudden, like, wow, this creature has, like, recall abilities. That's crazy.
Cute.
He takes a moment and breathes a little bit and raises a hand up to the other villagers to call them off a little bit, to steady them so that you're not so stressed, not so under pressure. Is your name truly Vala? I didn't catch that. Was that a no?
Oh, it was, sorry, I just dropped the grunting. No. No.
If I kill you, will you return?
I don't know.
What is death to you? And a being so everlasting must imagine death more like a dream. Something like a long nap. What is it to you? Do you even understand the word I'm saying?
Kill what I eat. Death is the end.
Do you know you're wrong?
Why?
There are two ways to die. The first is your body. The soul leaves, much like the magic that left when you broke Bloodrunner all those months ago. It's sudden, it's quick. The carcass left over might be repurposed by some other scavenger or swordsmith. But it has none of its original life. The second death is when you are forgotten. When no one remembers your name. Or there is no one else to remember your name. You will die the first death. But I promise that you will be immortal in a different way. You will be glorious.
There's a moment of silence as Vala looks at you. And then the jaw, which you figured out which one is Vala's jaw now,
Yeah.
just extends much further than it should as Vala lets out deep, ice rumbling roar.
think.
Whether what? Oh, sorry. Good.
No, go ahead.
I was say like, it's just the roar is probably the most animalistic thing you've seen from Vala in all of your encounters. It's a primal scream. A scream that is desperate for survival. It's the scream when you know you're at the end.
Does Vala continue to squirm at that point?
I think yes, Vala will continue to fight until Vala is taken down.
Celine will order the rest of the villagers to continue restraining the great mass of being that you are, and will slowly approach, even as you are thrashing around, your four skulls kind of batting back and forth and clacking like great bells. And he doesn't know if you have a brain necessarily, but will find a vertebrae within your neckline to make this a quick death, at least. You were glorious, Vala. I'm sorry. As he raises. This is the first time this has been used since you broke it. This is Bloodrunner. No longer magical and still having a large cleft kind of in its blade, but now almost more like a bident instead of a trident. We'll ready that sword to strike. Is there any final word from Vala before she's killed?
I think Vala is more of a scream that you silence.
And after waiting a few seconds for any sort of coherent response, there is as the one head that talks is severed. How does the rest of the body react?
I think there's almost immediately, in the sense that now that you are so close, the skulls you saw around Vala were for show. Those were animal skulls Vala had tied to Vala to be bigger, to be grander. But you found the creature within. And so as you sever that spinal connection, Vala dies the way a human would. Pretty instantaneously going slack.
There's a moment of anticlimax in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
This great beast that was actually a monster of some kind, something not of the natural world, something very strange, lopsided, kind of amalgamous, just died like any other animal. Just
Yeah.
no other response. But the rest of the villagers who were brought along for that trap, for that ensnarement, all celebrate. And finally, you hear the as one final measure to ensure that you are dead, the villagers that are staying atop the cliffside, next to this ravine that you're by, push a boulder over and land it on your chest to collapse any internal organs that might have resurrected. Again, very superstitious, these people.
Sure, yeah.
And they all erupt and cheer and clamor over Salim in this glorious moment. But Salim doesn't really revel with them. He sits for a long time afterwards and kind of ponders those last thoughts. He's killed lots of animals. He's killed a lot of people before. This was different. She seemed so aware of so much. And to see her in those final moments not peaceful, like in the way that I think he expected her to, in the way that a Viking might be calm when knowing he's faced with defeat. He takes it gloriously, he takes it on the nose. She squirmed. She tried to break the bonds. She screamed. Same way any animal might. That's deeply sad. There's many tales of this story that have since been proliferated throughout much of the Scandinavian culture of Salim the Tricksy and the Great Beast of Greenland, but none of those stories capture that melancholy. That it's always valiant to have slain you. It's always justified. It's always something very simple in the way that old comics are simple, right? Like, Superman is a good guy, Lex Luthor's a bad guy. That's it. Like,
yeah,
it just is what it is. It's not complicated in any way in the way that Salim knows it was complicated. It has been simplified for a broader audience. It has been made more accessible in order to spread it further. But it's not the truth. Salim does go back home to Eastern Europe, to the Balkans, to Turkey. He actually settles more around Wallachia, just south of Hungary. But the story haunts him in a way, and along with that glacial roar that screeched and bellowed at the same time, that sound rings in his head every night as he remembers that moment where he made a legend thinking it would be an act of gratitude. But he realizes it was just like the sword. The soul left, and there was nothing left of the person who was there. The story is not you. It's been malformed. It's been bastardized. It's been caricatured in so many different ways. And everywhere he goes and he hears a story being retold, it's wrong in a new way. He has his sword still, and it still works, and that's how he killed Vala. Or he's had the whole village with him the whole time, and it didn't take months, and he did it in a day, and he found gold at the end, and he slayed a bunch of other creatures in Greenland too. And he rode an orca all the way back. Just
Vala was eating babies when you arrived, and you saved all the village children.
and he recognizes now that those stories that permeated you now permeate him too. He's becoming a monster in his own way of being this dominant, brave, unflinching Viking hero when throughout so much of this story, he was afraid, he was scared, he didn't know what he was doing. That's a lie too. What happens to the souls in Valhalla as their stories are being mangled, as they're being broken and remended in the wrong ways?
And when you realize that you're made out to be this larger than life, stronger than any thing you've ever encountered character in these stories, does it make you wonder how much of those stories about Vala were true when you got there? About monstrosity.
When he settles down in Wallachia, he stops going out. He's sick of these stories, knowing that so many of them no longer are true. And now recognizing that so many of the stories that they told about you were not true. You were very alarming, very frightening. But you were no murderer. You weren't committing infanticide. You weren't causing plagues. You weren't, causing the seasons to shift. You didn't batter away storms for the crops to bloom. You couldn't have done that. Why would you? You barely seemed like you wanted to interact with me. I think Selim dies with a deep guilt. He never makes a family. He doesn't ever resolve his kind of loneliness now that he's boxed into this legend. He gets free drinks. Doesn't help a lot. He's just now another story, not a person. And he realizes that it might have been more glorious if he had died in that fight with you, and not simply sought glory for himself. Or to have simply let you live and tell these people that you were intelligent, you were smart, you could be reasoned with, you spoke their tongue. But he didn't. And he won't. And he can't. And he dies with that thought.
As the perverse version of Vala and Selim's tale continues on.
Yeah.
Without them.
The Disney-fied version.
Oh my god. I'll find my way.
Oh my god. That's literally just Hercules, actually. Wow! That's the game!
We did it!
We did it! Yay! Wow, what'd you think?
I loved it. It's so... I'm just like, I didn't want either of them to die or end, or like, I was just so entranced by their dance.
It was a very tenuous ritual of back and forth, back and forth. But then, like, as soon as we got back, it went all in my direction, and then it was like, oh shit, I felt like I, didn't ruin the tempo, but like I was like, okay, we're done. And it was like,
Oh,
whoa, But yes.
they're all not this one. But yeah, these are all the cards we did.
How many cards was that? Like 15, 20?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had, I think, the 14.
14.
I dropped one.
That was only, for everyone at home, a little bit more than a quarter, of all of the prompts available in this game. And that was in that order, right? You can have so many varied, interesting games playing with this idea of monster, of hunter, of these ideas of pursuit, of death, especially, is a really common theme, especially because, being hunted.
One of them. Yeah.
Of hunger, a lot of times, like was often the case with Vala. This game is really, really fun, and if you enjoyed this at all, please consider supporting the Kickstarter. Again, it is already funded, so it will be made into physical products, and there's already a PDF available that will probably be available after launch. There are already stretch goals that
it's not a risky thing where you're like, what if this never funds?
This isn't a shot in the dark. You will get something from this. If you enjoy this at all, if you enjoy really roleplay heavy games, if you like thematic games with a lot of interpersonal interactions, if you like conflicts that are more than just, I hate you too, or are be more than just like common like familial tropes or interpersonal in the way that like you would expect from like a campaign necessarily. So many of the games that I have played have been very like, we are two strangers passing in the dark, but we are very important to each other now. And that's such a more interesting story in a lot of ways, because you have to make those big decisions about, I guess I have to deal with you. And that's really fun.
Yeah.
If
you've ever been, I don't know, unhealthily obsessed with Javert and Valjean's whole dynamic.
Perfect example of Hunter Hunted.
Yeah.
Fucking nailed it. Holy shit.
Next playthrough, we're gonna do it. Only if we get to bust out in the confrontation song, though.
24601! Your time is up and your parole's begun! Yes, absolutely.
Yes!
Yes. Hunter Hunted is a great game. Go check it out on Kickstarter. Congratulations again to Dillin and Meghan for a fantastic game and a fantastic launch for your Kickstarter. I'm very excited to play this again in the future, and I'm very excited to play with you again in the future, Puja.
Me too. This is so fun.
Which, by the way, I will do a shameless plug one more time. I'm Andre. You can find me at Andre Vera Art. I am an illustrator, an actual play performer, just a TTRPG guy. I'm also the safety consultant for Unprepared Casters. You can find all of my stuff over at andrearivera.art. You can see my illustration portfolio, the actual place I'm in, podcasts, and a few games I've designed as well, including some with Dillin, which has been very fun to make. The next project that I'll be working on besides Adamless, which is currently running on Patchwork Productions, which is on Momo O'Brien's channel, as well as Tragedy Theologian, which is on Patrol Party Kiss. I will also be soon GMing a brand new spin-off game of our Streets of Gotham campaign that Puja and I are both in, called Streets of Visigotham, which is
get into it.
Which is a Roman alternate universe version of Gotham City of Batman. So if that's anything that you're interested in, keep an eye out on Manapod Studios. We will likely be debuting that sometime in the next coming weeks. So be excited.
Because what's nerdier than, hey, let's take some comic books and then shove it in history?
Yeah! Puja, please tell the people what's going on with you.
Hello, everybody. Again, I have been Puja. You can find me on Twitter and Tumblr at Puja, and I think Blue Sky as well, although I don't really do anything there. Pujaberwaki on all other platforms, and you can find me playing Streets of Gotham with Andre, soon Streets of Visigotham with Andre, on Total Party Kiss's other flagship show from Andre, Strange Hungers.
Oh yeah,
on the
all the hunger themes in this were like, oh my god, I could feel that like reverberating influence a little bit.
Yeah. And the latest season of Unprepared Cast, the last arc of Unprepared Casters, although they're
Yes.
I think the new one should be coming out soon. But City of Mist, where I play a very different character from Vala. And yeah, just keep your eyes out. Announcements are coming soon for the show I'm going to be on for Tabletop Tempest, which is in its Kickstarter, either Kickstarter now. The Kickstarter has been announced. I don't think it's live yet. But yeah, come out and come hang out.
Hooray!
Woo!
Thank you again to
Thanks,
Dillin
everybody.
and Megan for making the game. Thank you to Dillin specifically for letting us stream on your channel and for all the tech support. Very appreciated. We love you, everybody. We'll see you around. Have a good night, everybody. Goodbye.
A fallen log. Thank God. Just duck behind it and stay fucking silent. My heart won't stop racing. I feel like he could hear it from... Wait, where is he? Okay, just get a peek, slowly, so you don't rustle these damn dry leaves. There he is. He hasn't spotted me. Christ, I might actually get out of this. He's walking away. Good. Keep walking, asshole. Why the fuck does he want to kill me anyway? I've done everything I possibly could to stay out of trouble, and he still wants to hunt me down? And who the hell is he anyway? Like he doesn't have a few skeletons in his own closet. I bet we could find out. I bet he's worse than I could ever be. You know what? Fuck it. Why am I hiding behind this log like a child? You want a monster? I'll be a fucking monster.
Hunter Hunted is a 2-player TTRPG that weaves together narrative scenes in a fast-paced dice-rolling sprint that sends players racing headlong into the hunt, coming face-to-face with their own humanity and monstrosity as they do. One player will be playing the Hunter, the Pursuer, driven and steadfast in their quest to track and slay their quarry. The other will be playing the Monster, the Pursued, alienated and hated by those who have crossed their path, determined to survive by any means necessary. The two will pursue each other as the players race to advance their token off the tracker first, drawing a prompt with each advance made and answering it through roleplay as the events of the hunt, as well as the memories of the hunter and monster, are revealed. At the end, whoever is the first to advance their token off the tracker has claimed the upper hand once and for all. The hunt is over, and now they must make a choice. Do they dispatch their opponent, or allow them to flee with their life?